Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Priority Pass and why I love it. But before I go any further, let me say this is not a sponsored video. Let's begin. Okay, so my primary reason for loving this pass so much is that I have to get to the airport here in Prague about 1.5 hours to 2 hours before my flight. But internationally, in huge airports like in Beijing, New York, or London, I probably want to get there around 3 hours before my flight. If you're lucky enough to clear baggage, customs, and security rather quickly, you will end up on the other side with sometimes a lot of free time. And generally people kind of just muddle around the shops, or they go have a beer, or they go to the restaurant. But why spend extra money when you can go to a lounge, have a safe place to store your luggage, charge your devices, get on the internet, check your flight availability and what terminal it's at via the monitors, and have a safe place to just kind of sit and relax. You don't have to constantly be aware of where your stuff is. That's a really big bonus. Reason number 2. There are over 1,300 locations where you can go to an airport and access a priority lounge. In fact, some airports, like here in Prague, actually have 2 lounges, and they're directly across the hall from each other, only about 15 feet. So it's really nice. You can choose to go to one or the other. Another reason why I love Priority Pass so much is because of the simplicity. They have a dedicated app called Priority Pass. And what you do is when you log in with your customer details, you can then pre-arrange your visit. So for example, if you know you're going to be flying through London or Singapore, you can type in London, Singapore, and it'll show you all the different lounges that are available. And then when you find one that you like, click the heart icon and it'll save it as a favorite. And then you know, okay, in Singapore or in JFK, these are the lounges that I wanted to go to. Also, you don't need to carry the plastic card around because frankly, it gets tiresome and cumbersome having to carry a lot of different plastic cards around. So what you do is you go to the back of your app and it has a unique barcode, and they can scan it right on the spot and say, okay, welcome and thank you. You can use the lounge now. Another reason why I love the pass is the level of comfort. Most of the lounges are kind of quiet and tucked away from a certain part of the airport where just generally people can't come through. So you just have your own little quiet space to think, especially for those people that kind of like to be alone or don't like large crowds. Most of these lounges are really quiet. In fact, I think some of the ones I had seen had said like, please keep your voices down. There were signs kind of like, don't be loud, don't talk on cell phones in the general area. And while you're there, you can enjoy free drinks, free alcohol, free snacks, and sometimes even free food. Some places like Prague will give you these little sandwiches and vegetables. But in India, when I went through Mumbai, they had entire meals that were available, not just breakfast, lunch and dinner as well. And I think that's really great because you can sit down, you can just relax, have a nice hot meal if you want. Because let's face it, traveling can be stressful. It's not always what you see in people's videos, including my own. The travel days to and from sometimes are terrible when you have to fly 20 hours to a location. Oh man, I don't want to tell you some of the horror stories that I've had. So now let's visit Priority Pass's website, and I'll show you some more information about the unique benefits, as well as how to register, sign up, and pay for a card so that you have this wonderful access as well. Let's go. Okay, so here we are on the main website, and you can see when we click on lounges, you can see just how many of them there are worldwide. Here we're going to check out the ones that are just located in Europe, and you can see there's a whole lot of them, which is awesome because there's so many places to visit. Here we click on UK and Ireland, which is a place that I constantly route through, so it's really nice that they have so many lounges. Just to show you an example of the search function, we're going to type in London Heathrow, and we're going to visit some of the lounges that are in London Heathrow. You can see there's many of them located all the different terminals. Here you can see the opening hours of the Aspire Lounge, which is one that I visited and I very much liked it. It lists the location and some photos, so you can actually see kind of what it looks like. Although you can find better photos on Google and I think Foursquare. And there's also some conditions that are stated about, usually that you can stay in a lounge for about 3 hours or so depending on your flight. And I think then you have to pay a little bit extra. It also shows you the facilities, and what I like is some of them have showers, which is really, really interesting. Another place I constantly route through is Istanbul in Turkey. It's a really big airport, especially the new one is massive, and you can see just how many lounges are available. It's 2 for now. You can see the opening hours here and the location as well, and some more photos. And here is just a quick highlight of the membership benefits that I talked about. You can read in depth and kind of get some more information about that if you feel like you need it. And here, if you're from the USA, you can see what the prices are and then get an idea of the different ranges between the standard, standard plus, and prestige. I currently own the prestige pass. It allows you different number of free visits and things like that. So there's some benefits and perks between them. But again, I own the prestige pass. And if you live, for example, in Germany, here in the EU, you can see just how much the prices are reflected in euro. This is the Priority Pass app. Very easy to use. What I like about it is a quick search function. So you can type in, for example, London Heathrow, and then you get all the different terminals and the lounges that are in those terminals. This is, for example, Terminal 2. You have 2 lounges, Plaza Premium. And it shows you the opening hours, the facilities, what's there. This one has a shower, which I think is really interesting. Also, it has a map, which you can click on. The conditions are 3 hours of stay. Well, check this out. When you open up the map, it shows you what it looks like as a photo, but also it shows you a digital map, which you can actually use to navigate, which is pretty interesting. Now here I'm going to heart it or favorite it, which, watch what happens. It'll end up on my main page. When I first type in, I want to search through, it says, oh wait, here's your favorites that are here. Now this is the lounge in New Delhi, India, and I thought honestly it was one of the best lounges I have seen, and I've seen probably more than about a dozen of them, and the meal selection was really nice. This is a quick shot of the lounge in Warsaw, Poland. Also very nice, nothing to complain about. And this is the lounge here in Prague, which is the one I use almost always since I'm flying through there. You can see they have a selection of small little plates and small salads, some different types of waters. Here are those sandwiches I talked about, these little tiny Czech style sandwiches, you know, juices of sorts. This I thought was interesting because they have salty and sweet popcorn. Also, you have a selection of hot drinks, cold drinks, and alcohol. And I think it's actually some pretty decent stuff. There you can actually see Becherovka, which is the Czech national kind of alcohol here. Here's just a small sample plate. I got a little tiny couscous salad and some vegetables and a glass of water. And because I'm obsessed with hot chocolate, I decided to get a nice warm drink before my flight. And to finish up with privacy, here I am relaxing before my flight takes off.